ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपदा निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। Hare Krishna, Dandavat dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining to continue our reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we are on the 15th chapter of the Madhya Lila, and this very beautiful section of the Lord's reciprocation with his devotees has been going on. And as we have read in the previous verses, how different devotees were leaving for Bengal, how the Lord very personally interacted with everyone. And then comes the section with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, where he invites the Lord. And with so much of love, he wants the Lord to come for a month, but the Lord says that it's not appropriate for a sannyasi to do that. So then finally the Lord agrees for a shorter period of time, and the other sannyasis also are coming. But this behavior of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and also his kind wife, it there's a lot of teaching for everyone, lot to learn from it, because his disposition is that of an ideal grihastha. Like he's always happy to open his home for devotees, and we see this. We should not think that okay, this used to happen only at the time of Lord Chaitanya and this can't happen now. We hear when Srila Prabhupada was a child, his father, Shri Gaur Mohan Dev, uh, he also used to invite sannyasis and devotees and very lovingly serve them prasadam. And what did he request them? There was only one request, that please bless my son so that he becomes a devotee of Radharani. So this is not that it is just very practical and it has happened only in the past 500 years ago. It no longer happens. It no longer is practical. To whatever extent possible, grihasthas should invite devotees over, have programs, engage in deity worship. That is what is the recommendation for Kali Yuga, that we should invite saintly devotees home, we should organize Sankirtan and other spiritual programs, we should worship the deity, then there can be a very nice lecture, and finally prasadam for all the devotees. So if we are able to do that, even though we are not able to do it daily, but at least occasionally, if we are able to do that, then the family will really flourish in devotional service. So, Vaishnav Seva is very, very important, and in whichever way possible, we should try to engage in serving the devotees. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife are actually shining examples because he wanted to serve prasad to saintly persons daily. He wanted to have it as a daily activity. His love, his dedication was so much that he was ready to do this seva daily. And those of us who have had experience in organizing such programs, it's not a very easy thing to do. There are so many preparations that go. There's so much pre-preparation. Then after the program, also during the program, there is a lot of seva, but it is very rewarding, right? Whenever we are able to do that, it is very rewarding, but a lot of effort goes into it. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife were ready to put in that effort daily. And we'll see how the Lord reciprocates, how the Lord very lovingly reciprocates with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's love. Okay, I'll just share the screen and we'll go forward. I think till 2:25 was covered yesterday, right? Yeah. So let's move forward from so 2:25 is, I think it was covered yesterday. This is where the Lord has seen that so many offerings have been made. And then he's very astonished because he says that this is most uncommon. What is he saying? He's saying that Alaukika saba anna jana dui prahar bhitare kaiche aila randhana. So this was completed yesterday, right? Or 2:24? I think this was read yesterday. So what is the Lord saying? He says, this is most uncommon. And how are you able to do all this in 6 hours? Because the duration was just 6 hours. So he's saying, how was this arrangement of rice and vegetables finished within 6 hours? The Lord is saying that. So now let's go to today's verse, that is 2:26. Shata chulaya shata jana paka yadi kare tabu shigra ita dravya randite na pare. Shubha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Shloka or translation Mataji, which one?
You can read the shloka also, Mataji. Shloka
Shata chulaya shata jana paka yadi khare tabu shigra yeta dravya randhite nat pare. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even 100 men cooking on 100 stove could not possibly finish all these preparations within so short a time. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Haribol.
Haribol. Thank you, Mataji. So it's not just an exaggeration. If the Lord is saying this, that means it is true that even 100 men cooking on 100 stoves could not possibly finish so much of cooking in a very short, just 6 hours of duration, and so much of cooking was done. So we can understand that there is a great quantity of prasadam that was cooked, and the Lord is really appreciating that. Okay, now 227. कृष्णेरा भोग लगानाचा अनुमान करी ऊपरे देखिए याते तुलसी मंजरी. Bhuvaneswar, Bhuvana Devi Mataji, you want to read, Mataji? Shloka and translation.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, please.
227, right, Mataji? Yeah. Krishnera Bhoga Lagacha Lagha. What is that, Mataji? Can you just tell me again?
Laganacha.
Okay.
Lagana.
Krishnera Bhoga Laganacha Anumana Kari Upera Dekiya Yate Tulasi Manjari. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I hope the food has already been offered to Krishna, since I see there are tulsi flowers on it. Haribol, thank you, Mataji.
Haribol, thank you, Mataji. So there were tulsi flowers on the bhoga. So Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is saying that seeing the tulsi manjari, I can understand that this food has been offered to Lord Krishna already. So again, a reminder for us that we should accept only remnants of food that has been offered to Lord Krishna. Okay. Now let's go to 228. भाग्यवान तुम्ही सफल तुम्हारा उद्योगा राधा कृष्णे लागा नाचा एतादृश भोगा. Sindhu Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, pranams Mataji. 228. भाग्यवान तुम्ही सफल तुम्हारा उद्योगा राधा कृष्ण लागनाचा एतादृश भोगा. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You are most fortunate and your endeavor is successful, for you have offered such wonderful food to Radha Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this very act of devotion to Lord Krishna, cooking bhoga and offering, it may seem as a very simple, common activity, and some people just take it as a routine work that is done in all homes every day. What is the big deal? But when this regular, activity or this common activity is performed for the service of Lord Krishna, for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna, then it becomes something very, very divine. Similarly, other activities also, like for example, cleaning or making garlands or washing clothes, all these are very regular activities, But when these are used in the service of Lord Krishna and Radharani, then the whole level completely changes. Then they no longer remain regular or common activities. It becomes very, very special. And Lord Chaitanya here is saying that you are very fortunate and your endeavor is successful because you have offered such wonderful food to Radha and Krishna. So whenever we get this opportunity to cook for the Lord, to cook for our deities or the pictures of the Lord in our home, we should be very, very happy. We should feel very grateful. See, because what happens is that, especially if we've been doing something for a number of years, it becomes a little boring at times. It becomes like regular that, oh my God, every day morning we have to get up. First, we have to decide what we have to cook, and then we have to cook. And this goes on every day. It's a daily grind. It can get boring. But that is when the Krishna consciousness angle is not there. So Krishna consciousness is something that makes even very simple activities very, very beautiful and very enjoyable. So the kind of offering that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife have made, we should also learn that in our offering to Lord Krishna, to our deities or our temple altar, we should also try to bring in variety. We should also try to make it a very high quality. First of all, the ingredients that we get, that we bring, we should try to get very good quality ingredients. And Prabhupada also stressed that whatever flowers we are offering, whatever vegetables, fruits, in other ingredients, it should all be very fresh. So we should take care that everything is very fresh. Then the place where we are cooking should be very clean. We should be clean. our clothes should be clean, and most importantly, our consciousness should be very clean. That is why when we are cooking, we can try to hear some lectures, or we can try to hear some bhajans, and now everything is so accessible on YouTube. We can try to attend a class if the time matches. So it's just a matter of a little effort from our end, and we can make this daily routine activity something very, very powerful, something very, very strong and very enjoyable. Because if we are doing it with this intention that I'm doing this to please my Lord, then it becomes very interesting. And then we'll feel like making new dishes, learning new dishes. And even if we don't know how to cook a variety of dishes, we can just try to do whatever we are cooking, even if it is the simple food that we are cooking. We should try to work on our consciousness, that let me make my consciousness more and more better. From yesterday, my consciousness should be better. It should have improved, and we should not let our mind waver here and there while we are cooking. That is why this angle of hearing something really helps, because then we are focused on Krishna's name or Krishna's pastimes, and then we are cooking. And always, this feeling that this is for my Lord, so we don't taste that food. We make it very, very clean. We keep the whole place also very, very clean. And these small details really matter, because once Yamuna Mataji had said, we all know Yamuna Mataji, when it comes to cooking for the Lord and cooking in ISKCON, first person after Prabhupada, I think we all think of Yamuna Mataji. And Yamuna Mataji had said that if we are not able to focus on the details, then where is the love? So when it's about our family members. Say, for example, there is an elderly person in our family, and we have to give them some medicines at a specific time. We have to take care that we don't give them some food items, and we have to give them some food items. We are very particular because we love that person so much, so we take care. So in in those small details, our love shows. In the same way, in these small details about cooking, this is how we can show our love to Krishna. This is how we can show our sincerity. So love is in the details. Okay. And, once there was one disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and Maharaj had gone to her house for prasadam. And a very simple dish as salad also, Maharaj appreciated that because she had taken so much care in cutting the vegetables very beautifully. So something like a salad also can be made special if we just put in a little extra effort and little attention. So yeah, Sindhu Mataji, it is a big challenge for us because we have to do this every day. And yeah, it does get difficult at times. Sometimes we are not well, or we are too tired with other sevas. So it does get challenging, but we should keep reminding ourselves that we are very fortunate that we get this opportunity. And yes, when we are unwell, the Lord knows. So those days we should do what we are able to do. The Lord Krishna is not that demanding kind of Lord that no, every day you have to offer these many items, otherwise I'll get angry. No, He says what best we are able to do. So on the days we are unwell, whatever best we are able to do, He will accept that with love. And there is no harm in taking help from our family members, involving them in the seva also whenever possible. But the whole point I'm trying to make is that any kind of seva should be considered as a great fortune. The seva for Lord Krishna is something that very fortunate people get. So keeping the house clean, keeping the temple room clean, keeping the kitchen clean, cooking cleanly, all these things, if we pay attention, it really helps, and keeping cleanliness outside, keeping everything decluttered outside actually helps us declutter our mind also. I think many of us would have that experience, that things clean outside help us maintain a clean inside also. That is why Prabhupada stressed so much on cleanliness also, right? And we see in all our ISKCON temples, cleanliness is given a lot of importance. So it is in these small details that we can show our sincerity to Lord Krishna, that my Lord, this service that you have given to me, I'm not taking it lightly. It is my great fortune, and I'll try to do my best. Here we should not compare with others that, oh, they are offering 11 dishes every day. I am offering only 2. No. The Lord is very personal. He knows our abilities. He knows our, restrictions also. And so that is why whatever best we are able to do, we should do that. Whatever best way we are able to serve the Lord, we should try to do that. Okay. So now let's go to 229. Yeah. Annera saurabhya varna ati manorama Radha Krishna sakshatihan kariya chena bhojana. So, Sudha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams. मेरा सौरभ्य वर्णा अति मनोरमा राधा कृष्ण साक्षात हिया करिया चेन भोजन. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The color of the rice is so attractive and its aroma so good that it appears Radha and Krishna have directly taken it. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So this is the description. The Lord himself is appreciating the cooking so much that he's saying that it's very attractive and its aroma is so good. It looks like it appears that Radha and Krishna have directly accepted it. Okay. Now let's go to 230. Tumara bahuta bhagya kata prashamsiba ami bhagyavana ihara aveshesha baba. Shobha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. 230. Thomara bahuta bhagya kata prasham sibha ami bhagyavani hara aveshesha pabha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Bhattacharya, your fortune is very great. How much shall I praise you? I also am very fortunate to be able to take the remnants of this food. Hare Krishna. Haribol Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. So the Lord is saying that again, he's stressing that your fortune is so great. You're very, very fortunate. And how can I praise you? The Lord is saying. And how much should I praise you? He's saying. And he's saying that I am also very fortunate that I'm accepting the remnants of this food. So we are seeing that in different ways, Lord Chaitanya is appreciating the effort by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Now, Sindhu Mataji, a question about cleaning versus cooking. So, Mataji, cleaning is something that we have to bring in regularly. It is something that we have to form a system so that daily that much time doesn't go in the cleaning. We have to really focus on cooking. We have to give more time to cooking. So that is why we can assign days depending upon our schedule where we do deep cleaning of the kitchen and other parts of the house. But on a daily routine level, we can just see how much is possible so that more time is spent on cooking and the cleaning is done in such a way that it doesn't take so much of our time. So if we are doing it regularly and we are doing deep cleaning also regularly, then that system forms where we are able to do it a little quickly and then start the cooking. So we can do that, Mataji. We can try doing that. And it is something that I am also trying to learn and we make mistakes and then again we try to improve on that, Mataji. So this is it's a constant learning, and we should actually take inspiration from other devotees also. When we go to some devotee's house and we see that they have kept the house, temple, kitchen very clean and neat, then we should take inspiration from them and then try to learn those things. So bhakti is constant learning, Mataji, in every way. Okay. Now let's go to 231. Krishnera asana pita rakha uthana more prasada deha bhina patre te kariya. So to read now. Dr. K. Karpagavali Mataji, you want to read?
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji. 231. Krishnariya asana pita lakshambara uthana मोरे प्रसाद देहा बिना प्रतिक्रिया translation Prabhupada ki jai. Take away Krishna different things. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Very cool. Thank you, Mataji. So then Lord Chaitanya, after appreciating the different kind of cooking that has been done, he says that now take away Krishna's sitting place and put it aside, and then give me prasadam on a different plate. That is what the Lord is instructing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to do. Now let's go to 232. Bhattacharya bale prabhu nakara vismaya ye kave tanra chake bhoga siddhaya. So Lalita Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Bhattacharya bale prabhu nakara vismaya yei kabe tahara satye bhoga siddhaya. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's hai. It is not so wonderful, my Lord. Everything has been made possible by the energy and mercy of Him who will eat the food. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying that, because Lord Chaitanya was saying that this is all so wonderful. How did you manage to cook this in such a short span of time? And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying that it's not so wonderful because everything was made possible by the energy and mercy of him who will eat the food. So by whose mercy has all this been possible? By Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So he is giving all the credit to the Lord, and this is what devotees do. They never take pride in their own ability. See, in the general materialistic world, we see that people are really crazy for taking credit, right? That, oh, not even a little bit of my work should go unnoticed and nobody else should take credit for what I have done, and my name should appear and people should appreciate me. They should really say good things about me because I have put in effort. But a devotee realizes that whatever we are able to do, it is only by the mercy of the Lord. And even devotional service, what is our ability to do anything in the service of the Lord? It is His mercy that He gives us some opportunity to show our love and to show our gratitude to Him through devotional service. And it is Srila Prabhupada's causeless mercy that He has included so many different activities in ISKCON, that there is something to do for everyone. We can never say that there is no seva for me in ISKCON. Once His Grace Gaurang Prabhu was saying in a lecture that anyone who does not have service, you please contact me. I'll definitely give you service because there is so much to do. It is such a wonderful movement. There are so many sevas. The only thing that we need to have is that sincerity and that desire to serve. There is a lot of seva. But whenever that seva opportunity comes and we are able to render the seva also, we have to remember that this is only by the Lord's mercy that we are able to do anything. So that is what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying. He is not taking credit for anything. He is giving credit to Lord Chaitanya for everything. Okay. Now let's go to 233. Udyoga nachila mora griniraranthane Grihinarandhane Yanra Shakti Bhoga Siddha Seita Hajane. So, Krishnamurti Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Udyoga nachila mora grahinira radhane Yendra Shakti Bhoga Siddha Seita Hajane. Am I right, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Now, please, you can read the translation.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. My wife and I did not especially exert ourselves in the cooking. He, by whose power the food has been prepared, knows everything. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So he is saying that it was not such a strenuous thing for us, and by whose power all this has been possible, knows everything. So he's again putting everything to Lord Chaitanya, that it is by your power and you only know everything. Okay. Now let's read 234. Eita sanevasi karaha bhojana Prabhu kahe puja Krishnera asana. Hare Krishna. Sudha Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat pranam. येईता आसने वशी करह भोजना प्रभु कहे पूज्य येई कृष्णेर आसन. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now please sit in this place and take your lunch. Mataji, purport also?
I'll read the purport, Mataji.
Okay,
Thank you so
okay,
much.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, and what is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saying that now you please sit here and please accept the lunch. And Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied that this place is worshipable because it was used by Krishna. That is why he had said that remove this asana of Krishna and then serve me prasad. And Prabhupada explains that according to etiquette, things used by Krishna should not be used by anyone else. That is why when we are doing offering in our homes also, the plate, spoon, glass, everything for our deities and for our Lord is kept separate. Similarly, things used by the spiritual master also should also not be used by anyone else. That is etiquette. Whatever is used by Krishna or the spiritual master is worshipable. In particular, their sitting or eating places should not be used by anyone else. A devotee must be very careful to observe. So this is the etiquette that Srila Prabhupada is explaining. And things used for Krishna, things used for Guru are very worshipable. So they should be kept very respectfully. And even, the bedding of the Lord or the shawl, or if we put a sheet for the Lord when it's cold, all these things should be very clean, should be kept in a very respectable manner. And like plates also of the Lord, they should be kept very clean and in a clean place. And utmost care must be taken in this service. So in this regard also, Yamuna Mataji had mentioned one Lila where she was on a train with Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada it was a long journey, so Prabhupada wanted some hot rice, and Mataji really, that's another very wonderful Lila, how she got this chance to cook, because they don't allow anyone else to cook. And Mataji said that if you don't let me cook, she told the train authorities that if you don't let me cook, I'll jump off this train, because my Guru wants rice and I have to cook rice for him. So they said, okay, don't jump off the train. They allowed her to cook. But when she went in, this is the train kitchen. We can imagine what condition it must have been in. But Mataji, before cooking, she went and cleaned that vessel. It was black with soot. She cleaned it, because Prabhupada had told her that the vessels should be spotless. So she cleaned it and then she made rice for Srila Prabhupada. So all these things are, very, very special, and they should be treated with a lot of respect. Okay. Now let's go to 235. भटका है अन्न पीठा समान प्रसादा अन्न खाबे पीठे वसिते कहाँ अपराधा. A.M. Radhika Mataji, you want to read? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes.
Hare
Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Bhattaka he anna pita samana prasada anna kabe pite vasite kahana parada. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada to Jai. Bhattacharya said, both the food and the sitting place are the Lord's mercy. If you can eat the remnants of the food, what is the offense in your sitting in this place? Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is for Lord Chaitanya. We should not take this that, okay, we also can do this. This is for Lord Chaitanya, that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying that you can eat the remnants of the Lord, so you can also sit in this place. So that is what he is saying to Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Now let's go to 236. प्रभु कहे भाला कैला शास्त्र आज्ञा हया कृष्णे रस कल शिषा भृत्या आस्वादया. So, Bhuvna Devi Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Prabhu kahe bala kaila shastra agnya haya krishnera sakala shesha bhritya aswadhaya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, yes, you have spoken correctly. The Shastra enjoined the devotee that the devotee can partake of everything left by Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. So when we are making an offering to Lord Krishna, then that prasad is taken by the devotees. Sometimes we see that I've seen it in Vrindavan. I'm not sure if it happens in other places, but there are some special days where they give out the jewelry of Radharani, sometimes an old dress of Radharani. So that is taken as prasad that is given to devotees. Okay. So now let's go to 7. त्वयोपयुक्तस्रगन्धा वासोऽलङ्कारचर्चिता उच्छिष्टभोजिनो दासास्तव मायं जयेमहि. Different meter. Shobha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, text 237. Payopayukta sraghanta Dvasho alankara chachita Uchitishta bhojino dasha Tava maya jaye mahai. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My dear Lord, the garlands, scented substances, garments, ornaments, and other such things that have been offered to you may later be used by your servants. By partaking of these things and eating the remnant of foods you have left, we will be able to conquer the illusionary energy. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Hari Bol.
So these items are mentioned like garland, scented substances, garments, ornaments, these things which have been used by the Lord may later be used by his servants. And by using these things and by taking the uchishta, the prasad left by the Lord, one can conquer the illusory energy. So now Prabhupada explains in the purport that with reference to Srimad Bhagavatam, that this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:646. In the Hare Krishna movement, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the dancing in ecstasy, and the eating of the remnants of food offered to the Lord are very, very important. One may be illiterate or incapable of understanding the philosophy, but if he partakes of these 3 items, he will certainly be liberated without delay. So what are the 3 things that are mentioned? What are the 3 things that we need to do? So very important for us to learn. One is prasadam, then dancing. Yes. And
Chanting.
chanting. Yes. So chanting, dancing, and prasadam. Very, very integral part of our movement, right? Simple things, but because they are connected with Lord Krishna, they become divine. So chanting, dancing, and accepting the remnants of food. That is prasadam. So we see, right, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are verses from Srimad Bhagavatam that come. So this is one such verse. And so Prabhupada explains that this verse was spoken by Uddhav to Lord Krishna. This was during the time when the Uddhav Gita was spoken. At that time, there was some disturbance in Dwarka, and Lord Krishna decided to leave the material world and enter the spiritual world. Uddhav could understand the situation and he talked with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The verse quoted above is an excerpt from their conversation. Sri Krishna's pastimes in this material world are called Prakata Lila, manifested pastimes, and his pastimes in the spiritual world are called Aprakat Lila, that is unmanifested pastimes. By unmanifested, we mean that they are not present before our eyes. So Lord Krishna's Leelas are divided into 2 parts. There can be 2 types of Leelas, Prakat Leela and Aprakat Leela. So Prakat Leela are the manifested pastimes which take place in the material world. They happen here, and then there is Aprakat Leela, that is unmanifested pastimes which take place in the spiritual world. It is not that Lord Krishna's pastimes are non-existent. They are going on exactly as the sun is shining perpetually. But when the sun is present before our eyes, we call it daytime, manifest. And when it is not present, we call it night, unmanifest. So Lord Krishna's Leelas are taking place at every moment. It's just that, okay, here it took place 5,000 years ago now, but now also it's taking place in other planets, there are other places where it is still taking place. It's just that like the sun moves away from our vision in the evening, it becomes unmanifest. In the same way, those leelas are now taking place somewhere else. Those who are above the jurisdiction of night are always in the a spiritual world where the Lord's pastimes are constantly manifest to them. As the Brahma Samhita confirms, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhes Tabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasati Agilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilocanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Lord Brahma is praying in the Brahma Samhita that I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord who resides in his own realm Goloka with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure and who embodies the ecstatic potency Hladini. Their companions are her confidantes, who embody extensions of a bodily form and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Sham Sundar Krishna himself, with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their heart of hearts with the eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love. So this verse itself, 237, is very, very beautiful. And the references that Srila Prabhupada has brought in is making it even more beautiful. You know, it is just making something that is beautiful, making it more and more beautiful. That is what Srila Prabhupada's magic is. So here it is mentioned, you know, Prabhupada is mentioning that the uchishta, you know, articles used by Krishna, or the prasadam, that is remnants of food offered to Krishna, how powerful that is, because it is so powerful that it helps one to conquer the illusory energy. And then he mentions about Lord Krishna's pastime, the manifest and unmanifest pastimes, and this reference from Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma is praying to the primeval Lord Govinda, and his who resides in Goloka Vrindavan with his energy, Radharani, and then there are their Nitya Siddha Bhaktas, you know, the close associates of Lord Krishna, and they are, this place is permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. So he is worshipping that Supreme Lord, Sham Sundara, and who is Krishna himself with inconceivable attributes, and pure devotees see the Lord in their hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. Premanjana Churita. Okay. Now let's go to 238. Yes, so just to recap, chanting, dancing, and prasadam, very, very important. And certainly one will be liberated without delay. We pay, you know, if we give respect to these items and we engage in chanting the Lord's names, dancing for Krishna, we don't have to be world-class dancers to dance for Krishna. It's just you know, a depiction of our love, you know, that dance, and accepting prasadam. Okay. Now let's read 238. Tathapi ete ka anna khao nana hayaya bhata kahe jani khao yate ka yuyaya. So, Sindhu Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. 238.
Yes, ma'am.
Tapi एठे का अन्ना खाओ नाना याया बट कहे जानी खाओ यथे का युयाया. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, there is so much food here that it's impossible to eat it all.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
So, Hare Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya is saying that it is so much, you've cooked so much, it is impossible to eat so many items. And Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's sentiment is, what he wants to say is that I know how much you can eat. Okay, so he's going to say that in the next verse, 239. Okay. Nila chale bhojana tumi karabayana bara eka eka bhogera anna shata shata bhara. Hare Krishna. Bhuvana Devi Mataji. Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. नीलाचले भोजन तुमी कर बायन बर एक एक भोगेरा अन्न शता शता bara. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After all, at Jagannath Puri, you eat 52 times a day, and each time you eat hundreds of buckets filled with prasadam. Haribol, thank you, Mataji.
Haribol, thank you. So we know how much offering is done in Jagannath Puri, right? I mean, that's the place where there is such great opulent offerings happening to Lord Krishna. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying that you are there in Jagannath Puri. You are only there now. You are eating 52 times a day, and each time hundreds of buckets of bhoga you are eating. So you don't say that this is too much for you to eat. That's what he's telling the Lord. Okay. Now he'll continue this same theme in these verses. So let's read 240 now. Dwarakate shola sasra mahishi mandire ashtadasa mata ara yadavera ghare. Sudha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranam. Dwarakate 16 महिषी मंदिरे अष्टादश माता आरा यादवेरा घरे. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At Dwaraka, you keep 16,000 queens in 16,000 palaces. Also, there are 18 mothers and numerous friends and relatives of the Yadu dynasty. Thank you, Mataji.
So first he says that in Nilachala, so many offerings are happening. Then he says that Dwarka also, you are the same Lord. You have 16,000 queens. They all have different palaces. So you accept bhoga there. Then you have mothers, friends, relatives. So many people you have. Everyone offers you bhoga and you accept so much bhoga now. So we know how much you can eat. That's what he's telling the Lord. Okay. Okay, now 241. व्रजे जेठकुडा मामा पिशादि गोप गना सखा वृंद सबर घरे द्विसंध्या भोजना. Lalita Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vrje Jeshta Khuda Mama Pishadi Gopagana Sakha Vranda Sabara Gare Visandhya Bhojana. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In Vrindavana, you also have your father's elder brothers, your father's younger brothers, maternal uncles, husbands of your father's sisters, and many covered men. There are also covered boyfriends, and you eat twice a day, morning and evening, in the house of each and everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So from Nilachala, Dwarka, and now in Vrindavan, saying that you have your father's elder brothers, younger brothers, maternal uncles, husbands of your father's sisters, many cowherd men, so many cowherd boyfriends, and
Mataji, we lost you.
Can't hear you, Mataji.
I think we lost her.
I think net issue must.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, really sorry, there was a power cut here. So yeah, so the laptop will connect in a bit. Till then, I'll just read the purport. So Prabhupada is explaining that in Dwarka, Lord Krishna had 18 mothers, Devaki, Rohini, and others. And then besides these was his foster mother Yashoda, Mata in Vrindavan, and many uncles. And then Prabhupada says that as stated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Brihat Shri Radha Krishna Ganadesh Deepika, 32. Upanando Vinandascha Pitrivya Purva Jo Pitu. The elder brothers of Nanda Maharaj were Upananda and Abhinanda. Similarly, in the same verse, the names of the younger brothers of Nanda Maharaj are given. Pitrivya tu Kanimyas. Kaniyam so Syatam Sananda Nandana. So the names of the brothers of Nanda Maharaj are mentioned. That's Sananda and Nandana, also known as Sunanda and Pandava, were the younger brothers of Krishna's father Nanda Maharaj. Shri Krishna's maternal uncles are also described in this book in verse 46. Yashodhara, Yashodeva, Sudevyadvadyash tu Matula. Yashodhara, Yashodeva and Sudeva were the maternal uncles of Krishna. Also mentioned in the Radha Krishna Ganadesh Deepika 38 are Krishna's uncles, who were the husbands of Nanda Maharaj's sisters. Mahanila, Sunilascha, Ramanav, Etayo, Ramar. Mahanila and Sunila you go and accept prasadam in everyone's house, and then now for this little quantity that we have offered, you are saying that it is too much for you. So, my lord, this is not correct. We know how much offering you can accept. Okay. Now I'll read the next verse till the screen share comes up. So now we are on verse 242. 1 minute, I'll just share this. So verse 242 now. Govardhana yagnya anna khaila rashi 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 tara lekhaya ei anna nahi ekagrasi. So would someone like to read? Padma Mataji, you want to read?
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna, Danda Pranam. Govardhana yagnya anna khaila rashi rashi tare lekhaya ei anna nahi ekagrasi. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, all Guru Krishna Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Indeed, the Bhattacharya continued. At the Govardhan Puja ceremony, you ate stacks of rice. In comparison to that, the small quantity is not even a morsel for you. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we have heard, right, in Govardhan Puja, there were huge stacks of rice that were offered. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was talking about Neelachala, then Dwarka, then Vrindavan. Now he's saying at Govardhan Puja ceremony also, you ate so many stacks of rice, you kept saying, Aniyor, Aniyor, get me more, get me more. So compared to that huge quantity, this small quantity is not even a morsel for you. Okay, he's saying that this is very small quantity, my lord. Okay, now 243. Tumita Ishvara Muni Kshudra Jiva Chara Ekagrasa Madhukari Karaha Angikara. So Lalita Mataji, you want to read?
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Tumita Ishvara Muni Kshudra Jiva Chara Ekagrasa Madhukari Karaha Angikara. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas I am a most insignificant living being. Therefore, please accept a little quantity of food from my house. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is requesting Lord Chaitanya that please accept this small offering. And Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that what is Madhukari, that a sannyasi is expected to collect a little food from each and every householder. That is to say that he should take whatever he requires to eat. And they should not be overeating, and this system is called Madhukari. The word Madhukari comes from the word Madhukara, which means honey collecting bees. And bees collect a little honey from each flower, but all these small quantities of honey accumulate to become a beehive. Sannyasis should collect a little from each and every householder and should eat simply what is necessary to maintain the body. So, being a sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could collect a little food from the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and this was Bhattacharya's request that you please take. I am an insignificant living being, please accept this offering. And compared to the food eaten by the Lord on other occasions, the Bhattacharya's feast was not even a morsel. This is what the Bhattacharya is pointing out to the Lord. That okay, you are a sannyasi, you are supposed to accept small quantity. But compared to what you are offered elsewhere, my Lord, this quantity is very, very small. That's what he's saying. Now let's read 244. Itashuni hasi prabhu vasila bhojane Jagannatira prasada bhatta dina harshamani. Sudha Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Tirthashuni hashi prabhu vasila bhojane Jagannatira prasada bhatta dena harshamane. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and sat down to eat. The Bhattacharya, with great pleasure, first offered him the prasadam from the Jagannatha temple. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. So, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had brought Jagannath temple prasad also, and first of all, he offers that to the Lord. Okay. Now, 245. Now this the twist in the tale is going to come where Amogha comes. Hinakale Amogha Bhattacharya Raja Mata Kulina Nindaka Tenu Shati Kanyara Bharta. So Chandana Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams, Mataji. Hinakela Amogha Bhattacharya Raja Mata Kuli Nanindaka Teno Shati Kanyara Bhatta. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. At this time, the Bhattacharya had a son-in-law named Amogha, who was the husband of his daughter Shati. Although born in an aristocratic Brahmana family, Amogha was a great fault finder and blasphemer. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's daughter, Shati, her husband is Amogha. And even though he was coming from a very good family, but the problem with Amogha was that he was a fault finder, blasphemer. He was looking for faults and he was criticizing people. Okay. Now let's read 246. Bhojana dekhite chahe asite na pare lati hate Bhattacharya ache na duyare. Lalita Mataji, kindly read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Bhojana dekhite chahe asite na pare lati hate Bhattacharya ache na duyare. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Amogha wanted to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eat, but he was not allowed to enter. Indeed, the Bhattacharya guarded the threshold of his house with a stick in his hand. Hare Krishna.
So he wanted to see Mahaprabhu eat. Why did he want to see Mahaprabhu eat? Because he wanted to criticize him. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya knew his nature, so he was sitting with a stick to keep him away. Now 247. Teno yadi prasada dite haila anamana amogha shiyana dekhi karaye nindana. Sudha Mataji, you want to read?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Teno yadi prasade dite haila ana mana amoga ashi anna deki karaye nindana. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. However, as soon as the Bhattacharya began distributing prasadam and was a little inattentive, Amogha came in. Seeing the quantity of food, he began to blaspheme. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So as soon as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya got a little engrossed in seva, Amogha enters and immediately he begins to blaspheme Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Now let's go to the next verse, 248. Eyane triptahaya dasa bara jana ekela sannyasi kare etika bhakshana. Padma Mataji, you want to read?
Yeah, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ane triptahaya dasha jana एकेला सन्यासी करे एते का बक्षना. Translation by Srila Prabhupada or Guru Srila Prabhupada. Too much food is sufficient to satisfy 10 or 12 men, but this sannyasi alone is eating so much. Thank you, Mata.
Mataji. So he's saying that, oh, this so much food is sufficient for 10 to 12 men, and this sannyasi alone is eating so much. So he starts criticizing immediately. Now 249. Sunete Bhattacharya ulati. Sunete Bhattacharya ulati chahila. Tanra avadhana dekhi amogha palaila. Lalita Mataji, want to read?
सुनीते भट्टाचार्य उलटी चाहिला तारा अवधाना देखी अमोघ पालाइला. Translation by Jivan Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As soon as Amogha said this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya turned his eyes upon him. Seeing the Bhattacharya's attitude, Amogha immediately left. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya obviously feels very offended, seeing the Lord getting offended. He feels very angry and he looks at Amogha, and Amogha knows that Bhattacharya will beat him up. So that is why he runs away from that place. Okay. 250. Bhattacharya lathila na mari te dhaila palaila amogha tara lagana paila. Chandana Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhattacharya lathilaya mari te dhaila palaila amogha tara lagana paila. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Bhattacharya ran after him to strike him with a stick, but Amogha fled so fast that the Bhattacharya could not catch him. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So Bhattacharya ran after him. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted to beat Amogha for his offense, but he ran so fast that he fled before he could catch Amogha. Okay. Just a few more verses we'll read today. 251. Tabe gali shapadite Bhattacharya aila ninda shuni Mahaprabhu hasite lagila. Sudha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dhanavad.
तबे गाली सपदिते भट्टाचार्य आइला निंदा सुनी महाप्रभु हसीते लागिला. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Bhattacharya then began to curse his son-in-law and call him ill names. When the Bhattacharya returned, he saw that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was laughing to hear him criticize Amogha. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji. So Lord Chaitanya is taking it very lightly. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could not catch Amogha, but he was saying ill names for him. But when he came back and Lord Chaitanya saw him in this way, the Lord started laughing. So Lord Chaitanya did not take any offense. He's very, very calm and cool. But the devotee feels bad when the Lord is blasphemed. Okay, 252. Shuni sathira mata shire buke ghata mare Shati randi hauka iha bale bare bare. Lalita Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna. Shuni satira mata shire bukhe gatha mare sathi randi hauka iha bale bare bare. Translation by Jivan Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Sati's mother, the Bhattacharya, heard of this incident, she immediately began to strike her head and chest, saying again and again, let Sati become a widow. Oh God. Hare Krishna.
So not only Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, but his wife also, she was lamenting when she hears of this incident, and she's saying that, let Amogha die, let my daughter become a widow, which is something so extreme that she's saying, but that shows how deeply hurt and deeply wounded they were, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife, how deeply regretful they were to see that Lord was blasphemed. Okay, 253. दुन्हारा दुखा देखी प्रभु दुना प्रभु दिया दुन्हारा इच्छाते भोजना कैला तुष्ट हना. Bhuvna Devi Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Dunhara dukha deki prabhu dunha prabhu diya dunhara ichhate bhojana kaile tushtahana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Seeing the lamentation of both husband and wife, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tried to pacify them. According to their desire, he ate the prasadam and was very satisfied. Haribol, thank you much.
Thank you, Madhya. So the Lord is trying to normalize everything. He's trying to pacify them because they were both very, very sad, very upset. And what did they want? They wanted the Lord to have prasadam. So the Lord accepted prasadam very nicely and he was very satisfied. So he wants to really make them peaceful now. Okay. 254. Achamana karana bhata dila mukha vasa tulasi manjari lavanga ilachi rasa vasa. Sudha Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Achanakara bhatta dila mukha vasa tulasi manjari lavanga elachi rasa vasa. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished eating, the Bhattacharya poured water for the Lord to wash his mouth, hands and legs, and offered him flavored spices, tulsi manjaris, cloves, and cardamom. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So even though he is deeply hurt, the Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya still is continuing his seva, and he's after Mahaprabhu finishes eating, then he brings water for the Lord to wash his mouth, hands, and legs, and then he offers him flavored spices, tulsi manjari, cloves, and cardamom. Okay, now we'll read 255 and stop for today. Sarvange paraila prabhura malya chandana dandavata hana bale sadanya vachana. Lalita Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. Sarvangi paraila prabhura malya chandana dandavat haya bale sadayam vachana. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Bhattacharya then placed a flower garland over Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and smeared his body with sandalwood pulp. After offering obeisances, the Bhattacharya submitted the following humble statement.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So then after that, after washing of hands and then giving of the flavored spices, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya placed a flower garland on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and smeared his body with sandalwood pulp, and then offers obeisances and speaks to the Lord. So this is the etiquette that he's following, and this is what learning for everyone, that as soon as a Vaishnav comes, we give them water, we give them a place to sit, water to wash their feet, place to sit, and then offer prasadam. And after prasadam, we offer them water to wash their hands, legs, and mouth, and then the spices, and then garland and chandan. That is the concluding part. Okay, so we'll stop here today. Thank you all so much for your attentive hearing, and again we'll continue from Monday. So, thank you all so much. Hare Krishna Dhanvat Pranam. Vanchakan Patrabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo. Any questions or any comments? Any doubts? No? So, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Gurna Devi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. Dandat pranams.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Mansi Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
With your permission, shall I end the session, Mataji?
Yes, please, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.